Hey everyone, I am Kiyotaro, and today I spend a whole day delving into the world of Demonslayer and uncovered 7 what-if scenarios that could completely reshape the Demonslayer storyline. To dive right in and not keep you waiting, let's get into it. But first, could you kindly subscribe before we begin? Thanks a lot. Let's jump into it now. Imagine what if theory number 1 was true. What if Sabito and Makomo were still alive? This would completely alter the Hashira storyline and could potentially lead to a new anime series. So, how could this change occur? Well, to prevent Sabito's death at the hands of the 10-armed demon crushing his skull, Mr. Urokodaki holds the key. He is ultimately responsible for Sabito's demise, as he is the one who allowed all his students to be killed. In this hypothetical scenario, Mr. Urokodaki corrects his mistake by defeating the 10-armed demon during the final selection when it is still weak. Without a demon waiting to crush the skulls of Urokodaki's students, there would be a significant increase in water-breathing users within the Demon Slayer Corps. Sabito and Makomo would successfully pass the final selection alongside their best friend, Giyu Tomioka. After becoming Demon Slayers, they will team up as a trio of Demon Slayers who embark on missions together, similar to Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. This time, the main character will be Kiyu, whose sister was killed by a demon. He vowed to avenge her by killing the Demon King, Muzan. However, his demeanor will not be as despondent this time because his best friend, Sabito, is still by his side. Kiyu will not hold himself responsible for his friend's demise, unlike the original storyline. After completing 6 to 12 missions together, Master Kagaya Ubuyashiki will assign them a mission to vanquish one of the lower moon demons. This lower moon demon also commands minions, but Kiyu and Makomo will defeat them together. With the top 3 students of Urokodaki working as a team, this lower moon demon will have no chance. After defeating the lower moon, Sabito will take on the role of the water Hashira, not because he is stronger than Kiyu, but because Kiyu cares deeply for his friend. Kiyu allows Sabito to defeat the lower moon and become the Hashira because he has always felt guilty and believed that the title of water Hashira should belong to Sabito. Sabito, unlike Kiyu, is more mature and composed, not letting his emotions control him. Upon hearing about Kanai Kocho's mission, Sabito decides to join her along with Rengoku because he senses something amiss. He is aware of Kanai Kocho's naive desire to befriend demons and worries that an upper-rank demon may deceive her and harm her when she least expects it. Sabito asks Rengoku to assist him in supporting Kanai Kocho since he is her frequent partner as well. His suspicion was confirmed when, just as he was about to defeat the flower-breathing Hashira, Rengoku and Sabito stepped in with their flame and water swords to rescue Kanai Kocho from the sly demon, Doma. Despite Doma's status as an upper moon, the trio of Hashira managed to defeat him, although they did sustain injuries and poison. Doma tried to use his icy powers and tricks, but they were no match for Rengoku's fiery blade, which ultimately melted his frost. Rengoku delivered the final blow by severing Doma's head with his scorching sword. After defeating Doma, it was revealed that Master Kagaya Ubuyashiki's wife saved Muichiro Tokido from a demon attack, as Muichiro had forgotten to close the door while sleeping. If only he had closed the door, the demon would not have been able to detect his foul odor, and his brother would still be alive. In the original tale, Muichiro Tokito received guidance from another Hashira in the mansion, with Kiyu Tomioka being the closest. However, this time, Sabito and Kanai Kocho will be his mentors instead of Kiyu and Rengoku. Sabito, not Kiyu, will be prompt and thoughtful, being sent to Tanjiro's home quickly. Upon encountering Muzan, the Demon King, Sabito cleverly refrained from attacking blindly. Instead, he planned to distract him by pretending that 9 Hashira were approaching to confront him. Before this, he overheard Muzan coercing Nezuko's mother to reveal the location of the blue spider lily. Knowing Musan's strength, he understood that getting into an unnecessary fight was not wise. However, despite his reluctance, he was still upset and ended up killing Tanjiro's family once again. This time, Sabito was present. Not only did he rescue Nezuko, but he also witnessed the brutal injuries sustained by everyone, realizing that they could not be saved. In addition, Sabito noticed one more person who was still breathing just like Nezuko, a girl named Hanako, who was Nezuko's little sister. Hanako's mother had used her own body to shield her from Musan's attack. With Sabito's presence, it was now possible for him to bring both Nezuko and Hanako back to the mansion. However, he was aware that by going to the mansion, Hanako's life would be at risk due to her more severe injuries compared to Nezuko. When he was on the verge of bringing them both, Tanjiro's mother used her final breath to instruct Sabito to visit her hidden village where the blue spider lily could be cultivated to create medicine for them. Upon reaching the village, Sabito found only one blue spider lily remaining, as Nezuko's mother had eradicated all others a few weeks earlier to prevent Muzan from discovering their existence. After rescuing them, he was taken aback and anticipated their transformation into demons, but instead, they both transformed into adorable demons capable of walking in sunlight and conversing like humans. Sabito would bring them back to their home to meet Tanjiro, then he would take Tanjiro to train in the mansion and meet Master Kagaya Ubuyashiki himself. Kagaya Ubuyashiki would be delighted because instead of attempting to defeat all the demons, they were close to curing them. He would request Kanai Kocho and Shinobu to take Hanako and Nezuko's blood for testing and training to become demon slayers. If this occurred, the final battle between Musan and the Hashira would happen sooner than in the original story. Musan would send all the upper moons to track down Nezuko and Hanako to bring them to him so he could consume them and achieve immortality as the perfect being. Musan was unable to restrain Nezuko, but he planned to discover the Demon Slayer corpse whereabouts through Hanako's blood. The ultimate showdown would occur in the city at the Demon Slayer mansion. It's important to note that Musan had not eliminated the lower six, and Rui had not been defeated in this tale. Musan would launch a full-scale attack with the 12 Kazuki and Nakami, along with all the former Hashira joining the battle. Who do you believe would emerge victorious in such a scenario? What if theory number 2? What if Musan, the villain in the story, was actually a good guy? How would the story change if he wasn't an evil demon, but instead a kind-hearted soul who wanted to help others? Let's take a look at his background. Musan used to be a prince in Japan, which means he was wealthy and powerful. Instead of turning into a demon out of greed, the theory suggests that he could have used his resources to find a cure for his illness without hurting anyone. He also might have searched for a rare flower that would allow him to walk in the sunlight without harming humans. The main aim would still be to become an immortal and powerful being, but with kindness and compassion. What about the upper moon demons? Would they still exist? Yes, they would. Musan would still turn some of them into demons, but only if they were on the brink of death and wanted to keep living. He wouldn't force anyone to become a demon against their will. He also wouldn't curse or control those demons. He would let them roam freely on Earth. He would guide them to be well-behaved demons who wouldn't harm humans. Starting with Upper Moon 1, Kokushibo, he wouldn't feel envious of his brother Yoriichi because Musan was a good person. Therefore, Yoriichi wouldn't have a reason to develop the sun-breathing technique to defeat Musan. Kokushibo and Yoriichi would enjoy their normal lives with their families. But what if Kokushibo still desired to become a demon? Initially, Musan wouldn't turn him into one because he would sense Kokushibo's greed. However, being a good brother and respected samurai, Yoriichi would request Musan to turn Kokushibo into a demon, and Musan would agree. Yet, he would keep a watchful eye on him and motivate him to be a virtuous demon. Discussion about Doma starts when he encountered Musan for the first time at the age of 20. Musan proposed to him the opportunity to transform into a demon, and Doma accepted without hesitation, displaying psychopathic tendencies. However, in this hypothetical situation, Musan would influence Doma to become a kind-hearted demon and utilize his powers to safeguard his cult followers. Consequently, Inosuket's mother would survive and marry Doma, leading to Inosuket growing up with Doma as his demon stepfather, instead of becoming a boar-headed boy raised by a boar. Furthermore, Kanea Kocho would not suffer from Doma's cruelty and would live happily with her sister and family. Gyotaro and Daki would still become demons, as they were on the brink of death and sought assistance. This time, it wouldn't be Doma coming to their rescue, but the infamous Musan himself. After what happened to Daki, Gyotaro's true nature was revealed, harboring deep resentment and envy towards those with a better life. Musan knew the threat they posed, so he struck a deal with them. They would use their demonic powers to help people, and in return, they would be given a second chance at life, a substantial sum of money, and a luxurious place to call home. What about Akaza? Before Akaza transformed into a demon, his name was Hakuji. Hakuji resorted to stealing medicine for his ill father, but he was caught. Subsequently, he was brutally beaten and marked with tattoos as a criminal. He was even referred to as a demon child. Upon discovering his wrongdoings, his father committed suicide, leaving a letter for Hakuji urging him to lead an honest life. Due to his notorious reputation, Hakuji was exiled from his hometown. If Musan had encountered him during this period, he would have never met his beloved or his father-in-law, who taught him to be compassionate despite his inner hatred. Hakuji was strong and skilled in combat. After learning about his situation, Musan would offer him assistance. However, he would not transform Hakuji into a demon, because he was healthy and somewhat dangerous in that state. Instead, Musan would take him to a family shelter for care, and later provide guidance on his future. As for the other upper moons, Hantengu would still face execution as a criminal. On the other hand, Kyoko, previously known as Manaki when human, would be rescued by Musan and transformed into a demon. Although his appearance would change from the original story, resembling a true artist this time due to his past as an artist, Musan would put in considerable effort to heal Kyoko using his fascination with corpses and transform him into a respected demon who could potentially contribute to the study of anatomy. Conversely, Nakimi, who had developed a habit of killing people before performing on stage, would come across Musan. What if theory number 3, imagine if theory number 3 were true, what if Zenitsu was strong, knew all thunder-breathing forms, and didn't fall asleep when fighting? Picture Zenitsu being struck by lightning again, but instead of becoming a coward, he becomes brave and intelligent. He matures and realizes his purpose is to defeat demons. If this were to happen, extraordinary events would unfold. Zenitsu would not be bullied by his senior, and his senior Kaigaku would not be envious of Master Jigoro for favoring Zenitsu and not naming him the successor of thunder breathing. In this scenario, he would respect the master's decision because Zenitsu truly deserves it. He would master every form of thunder breathing and could fight like a regular person without needing to fall asleep. Zenitsu would mature and stop pursuing girls, becoming the most ordinary one among his friends. His hair would remain yellow due to the lightning strike, and he would emerge as the strongest in the final selection, using his incredible speed to vanquish all the demons and save numerous lives. In this alternate scenario, more than 5 demon slayers will successfully pass the final selection, with Zenitsu being one of them. Upon receiving his Nurine sword, Zenitsu goes on a relentless mission spree, showcasing his skills. Along the way, he encounters Tanjiro and Inosuke at a demon mansion. Zenitsu impressively defeats the drum demon Kyogai using his thunder speed while Tanjiro watches over the children outside. In a surprising turn of events, Zenitsu saves Tanjiro instead of Kyu, and manages to defeat the Lower Moon 5, Ruin Head, by utilizing his exceptional hearing ability. However, even when joined by Rengoku, Zenitsu finds himself overpowered by Akaza, a demon who has mastered martial arts for centuries. After Rengoku is killed, Zenitsu will try to use his powerful thunder-breathing technique to track the killer into the forest, but the killer is too fast and escapes. After the Mugen Train adventure, Zenitsu will become a powerful warrior. This is because Zenitsu fought and defeated a powerful demon. In this new storyline, Zenitsu will undergo intense training to become a Hashira much sooner than expected. He will then go on to help Tengen defeat Daki and Kyotaro without any trouble, which changes the way that part of the story plays out. In this hypothetical scenario, if Kyu were to become a demon, the story would take a dark turn. Musan, realizing that he accidentally turned Nezuko into a demon, encounters Kyu at Tanjiro's house. Kyu recognizes Musan as the Demon King due to his abilities and tries to stop him from pursuing Tanjiro and Nezuko. However, Musan, being lazy, decides to either kill or turn Kyu into a demon using his blood forcefully. Musan then commands the newly transformed Kyu to capture Nezuko for him. Despite Kyu's reluctance to become a demon or follow Musan's orders, he is forced to comply, becoming a mindless creature under Musan's control. Kyu catches up with Nezuko and Tanjiro, who are trying to escape. Tanjiro pleads with Kyu to spare them, but Kyu, driven by his newfound bloodlust, ignores him and attacks. Nezuko tries to defend her brother, but Kyu's strength proves too much for her to handle. After tasting Tanjiro's blood, Kyu regains consciousness and remembers who he is. He also discovers that he can walk under the sun without harm, thanks to a special blood he shares with Tanjiro and Nezuko. This blood, derived from a rare flower called the blue spider lily, gives them immunity to Musan's curse. Regardless of which one of them Kyu bites, he will break free from Musan's control. Kyu decides to help Tanjiro and Nezuko defeat Musan. He advises Tanjiro to train with his former master, Urokodaki, and teaches Nezuko how to use the water-breathing technique. He also persuades Nezuko to stop consuming humans and find a non-harmful way to satisfy her need for blood. He introduces them to a demon doctor who purchases blood from volunteers. He urges them to keep his existence a secret from the Demonslayer Corps and feign his death, saving them from Musan. He also cautions them against disclosing their blood abilities to anyone, as they are unaware of potential spies for Musan. Tanjiro and Nezuko then collaborate to support Tanjiro covertly, without the Demon Slayer Corps' knowledge. They evolve into a powerful team of demon slayers with a distinct advantage over Musan and his followers. When the incident at Mount Nagumo happens, Ruin will not stand a chance against Kyu Demon and Nezuko's assistant Nezuko, who has also grown stronger after training with Kyu. Once Kyu and Nezuko save them, Inosuke and Zenitsu will join their group. However, a heartbreaking moment awaits when Shinobu encounters Demon Kyu at Mount Magumo. She will be torn between sadness and happiness upon seeing that Kyu is still alive. This time, there will be no crow to prevent her from attacking Nezuko. Shinobu will attempt to kill Nezuko, but Kyu will protect her and escape from the Demon Slayer Corps. Despite everything, Shinobu will still invite Tanjiro to her training class because she witnessed the events and wants to hear the truth from Tanjiro about what happened to Kyu and how to bring him back to life. After Tanjiro reveals his secrets, she will agree to take his blood for research and set up a meeting with Miss Tamayo to exchange information and knowledge. This will alter the outcome of the battle between Akaza and Rengoku. Tanjiro will instruct Demon Kyu and Nezuko to always accompany him, so during the confrontation between Akaza and Rengoku, Kyu will suddenly appear to attack Akaza until sunrise. Kyu will embrace Akaza until he turns to ash from the sunburn, as Kyu is now immune to sunlight after biting Tanjiro. What if theory number 5 poses the question, what if Muzan was betrayed by Upper Moon 1, Mishikatsu Tsugikuni? There was a theory suggesting that Mishikatsu Tsugikuni sought out Muzan to become a demon in order to challenge and defeat him on his own, to prove his superiority to his brother. Becoming a demon made him realize how powerful Muzan was, despite easily defeating the other upper moons. He had to go along with it, as time passed and his brother aged and passed away. His memory as a human slowly faded, leaving him stuck as a demon. Eventually, he became strong enough to defeat Muzan, but a part of his memory was still missing due to Muzan's actions. He didn't know that his true purpose was to kill Muzan all along. Muzan was aware of Mishikatsu's desire to harm him, but he kept Mishikatsu close because he was the strongest upper moon he could find and performed better than Doma and Akaza. Akaza consistently failed to fulfill Muzan's requests, while Doma was too playful, which Muzan found annoying during meetings. Mishikatsu Tsugikuni never failed to carry out Muzan's tasks, but he would politely decline if he knew he was not capable. In this storyline, Upper Moon 1 is always searching for his lost memories and learns that Muishiro, a boy with the same bloodline, regained his memories using the mist breathing technique. Kokushibo will soon discover that the 14-year-old boy he is searching for is actually his great-grandson. During Muishiro Tokito's battle with Upper Moon 5 Kyoko, Kokushibo sensed that Muishiro's bloodline matched that of the Upper Moon, and that his mist-breathing technique was similar to the moon-breathing style used by the Upper Moon. He warned Muishiro not to kill him, but Kyoko would likely inform Muzan that Mishikatsu Tsugikuni was planning to betray him. Kyoko would mention that mist-breathing has the ability to restore lost memories, just like Tokito had regained his memory. Although he was deceiving, Muzan always had doubts about the Upper Moon's lost memory that drove them to want to kill him. Feeling insecure, Muzan attempted to eliminate the Upper Moon before regaining his memory. He instructed Nakimi to summon him to the Infinity Castle, while Akaza, Doma, and Kyoko hid in the mansion, prepared to attack. The intense battle in the Infinity Castle soon commenced, featuring ice and wind techniques from Akaza and Doma. Kyoko was the first to fall due to his weaker blood demon art compared to Kokushibo. Despite facing challenges from Akaza, Doma, and Nakimi's distractions, Muzan also engaged in a distant fight with Kokushibo using his Nichiren blade. Kokushibo realized he had no escape and had to make a deal with Muzan by threatening to harm Nakimi to bring down the Infinity Castle. Nakimi's affection for Kokushibo made her agree to his wishes and pretend to be kidnapped. Muzan, seeing an opportunity, offered Kokushibo a deal to let him go in exchange for his blood. However, it was a trick as Muzan planned to keep some of Kokushibo's blood to track him down later. After leaving the Infinity Castle, he would immediately seek out Muishiro to verify Kyoko's information. However, as Muzan reclaimed most of his blood, his memories began to return, revealing that he was actually related to Muishiro Tokito as his descendant. Recognizing the familiar eyes and sensing their bloodline connection through swordsmanship, he confirmed his suspicion by utilizing his blood demon art to access Muishiro's memories. With this newfound knowledge, he informed Muishiro of Muzan's whereabouts and urged the Hashira and demon slayers to prepare for battle. Unbeknownst to them, Muzan had overheard their conversation through the small amount of blood he had left in Kokushibo. Kokushibo, despite being an enemy of the demon slayers for centuries and having slain numerous Hashira in the past, decided to assist them covertly. Knowing that there was deep animosity between them, only Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Lady Tamayo were aware of Muzan's true identity. With a strategic approach, Kokushibo intended to prevent the demon slayers from launching a direct attack on Muzan. He planned to bolster the demon forces by recruiting more allies and utilize Nakimi's abilities to summon them into the castle one by one, catching the demon slayers off guard. The initial targets for the summoned demons were Muishiro, Shinobu, Mitsuri, and Kyu, each pitted against formidable foes like Akaza and Doma in one-on-one battles where they would be overpowered. Eventually, Tanjiro and Kokushibo unraveled Muzan's scheme and rushed to inform the Hashira to unite and leave the mansion immediately, as every pathway had been tainted with Nakimi's blood. Regrettably, Muzan's plan would be successful, leading to the demise of all the Hashira, except for the Stone Hashira, who would be left fighting two opponents, Akaza and Doma. Akaza and Doma wouldn't run out of power, as Muzan would supply them with more blood. Fortunately, Kokushibo knew a secret way to infiltrate the Infinity Castle alongside Tanjiro and the other 5 Demon Slayer friends. These friends included Kanao, Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Genya, who utilized breathless breathing, along with 2 demons, Nezuko and Kokushibo himself. Together, they would arrive in time to rescue the Stone Hashira. However, they would face difficulties in defeating Akaza and Doma due to Nakimi's castle-moving powers, except for Nakimi. Eventually, a surprise attack would occur, led by Tengen and all the legendary former Hashira, who would join forces to defeat Muzan. Lady Tamayo and Yushiro were planning to use their powers to stop Nakimi from using her own powers. Lady Tamayo didn't want to kill Nakimi, because she believed Nakimi could help cure everyone once Muzan was defeated. Lady Tamayo also planned to use her powers to help Akaza remember his past and join the Demon Slayers to defeat Muzan. In the end, they were able to defeat Muzan and another powerful demon, Doma. They decided to let Kokushibo, a former demon, finish off Muzan, hoping that he would then fulfill his purpose and become a benevolent ruler. Their plan was for Kokushibo to use his powers to turn all demons back into humans. However, Akaza would commit suicide due to guilt, and Kokushibo would also take his own life since he had fulfilled his life goal of killing Muzan. What is theory number 6? What if Nezuko ate Tanjiro instead in this alternate scenario where Kyu came earlier and got preoccupied chasing down Muzan, unaware that Nezuko was still alive? A whole new story, completely different from the original, would unfold. With no one to intervene, Nezuko would have free rein to consume her brother. Despite Tanjiro's efforts to communicate with Nezuko, she would be unable to comprehend and would only perceive him as her prey. He would soon tire out and be defeated by Nezuko. If Nezuko were to consume Tanjiro, she would transform into a typical demon, needing to feed on humans to survive. If Muzan's blood had an impact on her, she would eventually draw his attention due to her increased strength. She would be capable of easily overpowering some of the lower moons, possibly even surpassing Ruin due to her consumption of humans. Gradually, she would climb the ranks, and it must be acknowledged that Kyotaro was the true Upper Moon 6, not Daki. Nevertheless, Daki was at least at the level of a lower moon. When Nezuko battled Daki, Nezuko wouldn't automatically become one of the upper moons because that process would take several years and necessitate her defeat of another upper moon. However, within a few months, she would undoubtedly be more powerful than the other lower moons and would be at least as strong as Lower Moon 1, with all her abilities skyrocketing due to Nezuko consuming humans. Her ability to heal herself was already equal to that of the upper moons, and she achieved this without consuming humans in this timeline. Nonetheless, Nezuko's regenerative powers surpassed those of the 12 demon moons, including the upper moons. Her blood demon art would be significantly more destructive, capable of turning anything it touches into ashes. Additionally, she could set bomb traps with her blood, which Nezuko could detonate at will. Furthermore, her physical strength, momentum, and transforming abilities are extensively improved. Nezuko has the potential to become much larger in this form. This means that Nezuko would become extremely powerful and would embody the essence of a demon in both a literal and figurative sense. However, Tanjiro's death would have a significant impact on the story. Without him, no one would have been able to defeat the Hand Demon during the final selection. Consequently, Zenitsu and Inosuke would still meet during their first mission against Kyogai and the Hand Demon. Although they would struggle immensely, they would ultimately succeed in defeating them. However, they wouldn't be able to sustain this for long without Tanjiro and Nezuko. When they confront Ruin's spider family, Zenitsu would be lucky to encounter Ruin's brother and survive until assistance arrives. Inosuke, on the other hand, would be unlucky as he would face both Ruin and his sister. At this point, Inosuke would have no chance and would perish within seconds. Nezuko has grown even more formidable, which is a major problem for Musan. The worst part for Musan is that if he consumed Nezuko like he did with the other lower moons, he would have unknowingly conquered the sun. Nezuko has always been resistant to sunlight. Rengoku was scheduled to handle the Mugen Train Arc mission alone. Hashira rarely collaborate on missions due to having distinct territories to protect. With only 9 Hashiras available, it would be impossible for them to cover all the crucial areas if they were to team up, especially on what was initially believed to be a lower-level demon's task like the Mugen Train mission. For Rengoku's mission on the Mugen Train, only Zenitsu accompanies him. Rengoku successfully defeats Enmu, but many people lose their lives because Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Nezuko were not there to rescue them on the train. If you think that's dreadful, prepare yourself for what happens next. In the Entertainment District arc, Tengen accompanies Zenitsu once again, similar to how Rengoku did against Kyotaro and Daki. Zenitsu is able to handle Daki in his sleep mode, but Tengen struggles to defeat Kyotaro on his own. When Zenitsu starts winning against Daki, Gyotaro becomes enraged and attacks Zenitsu to protect his little sister. Tengen momentarily loses sight of Gyotaro, and Zenitsu ends up getting defeated. Tengen is left to battle both Daki and Kyotaro, already finding it difficult to fight Gyotaro one-on-one, and now having to face both opponents at the same time. Unfortunately, Tengen and his 3 wives meet a tragic end. Daki and Gyotaro were responsible for the deaths of many Hashiras. Tengen found himself outmatched when facing them alone during the Swordsmith Village arc. Muishiro managed to survive his battle with Kyoko. However, he was poisoned and fainted after winning the fight. Tsuri had to face the Upper Moon 4 on her own. While she was able to easily defeat the first 4 clones, she was unable to overcome the hatred demon. Hantengu had too many clones, and defeating him proved to be a difficult task for Mitsuri alone. As a result, she and all the swordsmith people perished. In the final arc, the storyline diverged from the original, as Musan launched an attack on the Demonslayers in order to capture Nezuko. His goal was to consume her and dominate the sun. However, this is irrelevant in our situation, as Musan doesn't need to resort to such extreme measures. Instead, the Demon Slayers and Hashiras perish one by one, while Nezuko evolves into a formidable and merciless demon over the course of a few decades. She even competes for a position among the upper moons. It's possible that Musan could live for centuries without ever discovering that Nezuko is immune to sunlight. Some individuals might argue that if Nezuko had immunity to sunlight, Musan would be aware of it. That's valid if Nezuko were to venture out in the sun. However, Nezuko has become so powerful that it could take centuries for someone to coerce her into stepping out into the sunlight. Today's video is done for now. I put in a lot of hours to create this video, and all I request is for you to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.